Hello everyone, welcome back to Understand, the puzzle game about learning the rules. We left last episode in the middle of 4-3. I was getting kind of frustrated by 4-3-6, I think. These earlier puzzles in the series had convinced me that, had me thinking that I understood what the rules were. And on 4-3-6, I couldn't find a way to make those rules work. The basic idea, recall, was that Rule 1 was don't touch any shapes. Rule 2 was exactly one circle in each region, as I recall. And Rule 3 was each region must be in this kind of 3-tile kind of L shape. And you can see that this is applying here. It can be rotated, but it still has to be this L shape. And notably, since every region needs exactly one circle, it means you can't have any white space left over. This one was kind of hard to draw the shape, but eventually I figured it out. It didn't require a re-understanding of the rules, as I recall. Oh, we weren't stuck on 4-3-6. We were stuck on 4-3-7, this one. And the problem with this, so I did some fiddling around off camera, and I figured out what's going on. But let me refresh you on the problem. The problem is, if this circle is to be part of an L-shaped region, we have to fill in these squares, and then not this one. But likewise here, we have to fill in these squares, and not either of these. So somehow we have to fill in both of these two squares to meet the rule that I believed we had. And it's just obviously impossible. You can see you have to enter this square 3 times or something like that. Right, you have to go in, turn around, I guess would be a more accurate way of saying it. And then this is still a problem, even if you could do that. Yeah. So I did some fiddling off camera, and eventually I arrived at a solution, which I took off the screen so that I could show it to you, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. I think we were starting here. No. Here? No, that's not right. Here we go. This is it. So, as you can see, this puzzle was trying to force me to realize that the L shapes don't have to be 3 tiles. They can be any number of tiles. And also that the circles don't have to be in the center of them, but I guess we'd seen that before. I just didn't even think about it. It didn't even occur to me that you might draw this kind of L shape, even though I'd done it in previous puzzles. These are just so enjoyably placed in the corners that I was like, oh, you got to do this or this. But I suppose maybe there is a solution. No, you could make this triangle or L shape this way, but if you do so, you need your endpoints to be here and here, and there's only one way. There's no way to do that while also making this into the right-sized thing. Oh, whoops. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. That's 4-3-7. Now 4-3-8 makes a bit more sense because we have, like, we tried kind of the obvious thing, which was this in the last episode, and there's just way too many places you have to go into and then back out of. So I still don't know how to draw this shape, but at least it's like less impossible now, right? Because you don't have to make little nooks, so to speak. You can do like this. Not quite like that, though. Do this, but start here instead. Oh my god, I need to take a picture of this to make sure I can draw it again. I'm not going to do it, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? And it's true, if I ever get it wrong, I can just right-click and bring this back. So here we go. Speedrun. I made this the big one, yes. Something like that, right? Yeah, we did it. Okay. So not too hard to draw once you understand the rule. And we're on to 4-4. So let me briefly review what was going on in 4-1. And so this was about square-shaped areas with triangles in them. This was about line-shaped areas with triangles in them, I guess. Or line-shaped areas and just don't draw through the triangles, I guess. And this one we just did was about L-shaped areas and don't draw through the circles? No, we had to actually have each area had to have a circle. So it was about L-shaped areas with circles in. So this whole region seems very much to be about the shape of areas and possibly the shapes within those shaped areas. So let's have a go at 4-4 now. It's telling me this, okay? So rule 1, don't touch shapes. Yeah, sounds good. Rule 2, don't know. Probably rule 2 is the one about the arrangement of the shaped regions. Yeah, because it likes this. Okay. Does it like this? Or this? No, rule 2 doesn't like this. And that's interesting. So if it is about shapes, it likes horizontal lines and not vertical lines. Okay. And rule 3? Two shapes in each region, maybe? No? Because it allows this as well. It doesn't mind two squares in the same region, or a circle and a square in the same region. But it doesn't like 1 and 3. Does it like 3 and 0? It doesn't mind 3 and 0. And it doesn't matter which kind of shape I have it be, I think. So rule 3 could be no regions with fewer than 2 shapes. Rule 1 is don't touch any shapes. Rule 2 is only lines? Could be. Only horizontal lines, right. And that's for the unfilled in regions, not for the line itself. So it's trying to get me to do this. Oh. Okay, so maybe it's not about horizontal lines? Ah. This is allowed by rules 2 and 3. So it doesn't seem to be about, like, requiring a 3x1 strip or something. In fact, this is allowed also, and so is this. So I get this. It seems obvious since they've rotated the puzzle that I can just rotate the solution. But I guess it's not so obvious because I was thinking that it has to be horizontal for a while. And now here's this totally different shape of grid. So rule 3 is happy with this, huh? I assume this will be horrible? Yeah. This is okay, though. So again, we've got kind of a rectangular region. I say rectangular because we found that this is also okay for rules 2 and 3. Sorry, and so is this. So it doesn't have to be a thin strip necessarily. And perhaps in each region, no two of the same shape? I don't think that's... Well, maybe it is okay. But then... yeah, I guess, okay. If it were no two of the same shape in a region, then this would be okay, but it's not. Something about this circle is unhappy, right? Because we know that this is an acceptable shape and contents for a region. And this isn't. So what about that? No. So that circle seems to need a square paired with it. Okay. So each region needs a circle and a square and has to be rectangular? Maybe? Are those the only two kinds of shapes we get here? They are, okay. It has to be rectangular. Well, that's hard. No, it's not. I can just do this. Oh, how dare you! What? I guess in each of these so far we've split the grid so that like the two regions are the same size. Here I haven't really done that. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, there you go. Now I have. Okay. So this is an acceptable shape, but only in the context of one of these puzzles where the others are the same shape. Here it's not allowed because this is a different size. So we have to do that. Interesting. And this? Yeah, okay. And this? Yes, very good. Now I just have to figure out how to make them all the same. I want to make a rectangle out of both of them. It has to be its size at least. Well, it's not true. Could do this. Okay, so they're... I still actually don't know whether they're allowed to be rotational, like whether one of them could be rotated differently than the other. But okay, fine. Well, these two have to be in the group together. And so do these two. I see. This is teaching me something important, I suspect. Because there's no way to have a 3x3 region here and a 3x3 region here. And so... And so what? I think that we are going to be doing something like an L shape here, and then like an L shape here will be our two regions. How hard is that to draw? Well, not like that. I guess the corners are going to be a little tricky, huh? Yeah. So if I were to go through here, I couldn't do that. This shape is undrawable, I think. this idea of these two L's. Because when you come up here, you have to go this way, and then you have to do all this, and this ends up being cut off. You can start here, but if you do, then this ends up being a problem, doesn't it? Maybe you can start in one of these corners. Something like that. Oh, why did I think this was going to work? It doesn't work. Maybe it's because I was starting here, and that doesn't work for a different reason. Yeah, now this corner is toast. So yeah, as predicted, we don't meet the third rule. Now, one thing we could consider would be, they don't have to be L's. We could make they have to be at least L's, but they could be taller, right? Could I make this one stick up into here and this one stick down to here and therefore draw this way? Draw L's that look like this? You get what I mean. If we're doing that, it would have to look, well, okay, there looks like there's a problem here, but maybe there's not. Maybe I can do this? Okay, so I did make them symmetrical. They're both the same shape, rotated, what, 180 degrees? But that's not good enough. Either there's some restriction about what kind of shape they can be. For example, they have to be rectangles. Or they're not allowed to be rotationally weird. I guess I could test that theory like this. It seems they have to be rectangles. Well, actually, that doesn't really prove anything. These are also 100... Well, no, one's a mirror image of the other. Okay, so if I can't just make shapes that are reflections of each other, and let's, well, hang on. Where within the shape, where within the region the shapes are doesn't matter. We showed that in this puzzle. And this one, I guess. So it seems as though either they can't be rotations of each other or they have to be a rectangular shape. They have to be the same shape, right? This is no good? Yeah. Is there any way that I can test the symmetry constraint, like separate the symmetry constraint from the rotation constraint, or the kind of what do you call it when the congruency, when two shapes are congruent, but not quite. I don't know. Anyway, my point is just like, do they have to be in the same orientation, or do they have to be rectangles? One of those two, possibly both, although I doubt it, is what's wrong with this solution. And, well, maybe on this one I can find a way to make them not be rectangles, right? Like, can't I do this? But this just has the same problem. I can't tell whether they're, like, the wrong shape or whether they're just not rotationally symmetrical with each other. It's hard to break only one of those constraints. But I kind of think that it's impossible to make them rectangles that are the same shape. Right? That was kind of what started me down this whole L path. Is if they're rectangles, this one must be at least a 3x3 square. I could make it bigger, but that doesn't really help, I think. And this one... Huh. So, okay, the second rule we think is the one that there have to be two shapes in every region, right? Or a circle and a square in each region. Yeah, this gives us the second rule. The first rule, or the third rule, this is how we test the third rule. We don't need to construct a complete solution to test the third rule. We just need to ask questions about other shapes. So this tells me the third rule doesn't care about rectangles, right? Because if it did, it would be off. This shape is totally nuts. But this shape is kind of the same as all the other shapes, i.e. none of them. And I assume we'd see... Yeah, the third one's still okay with this. Second one's not, because we didn't include one of each shape in the region. So, if you don't care about shape, but they have to be the same without rotation, I guess there's some other options we have. We could draw like this, for example, right? And then this shape would go like that. But then how do I fill in this region, right? I can't. This? That's no good. Because I can't... There's no place to put the bottom of this one. It would look like that, right? So this is the obvious thing, but it messes all this up. And I could... If I made this the region, then it would be overlapping with this region, and that's no good. Remember, we're drawing what we imagine the white space region to be eventually. This is not where I want to put my line. That's obviously illegal. We're just looking for shapes that we could make a clone of elsewhere. And this one, if you translate it right to down to, you would have that clone. There's just the problem that you can't actually make that outline. And if I go any further left from here, then there's no room for this region because it would go to here. There'd be no space for a line between them. And if I go any further right, then then this region would fall off a cliff. So if I've come up here, there's nowhere further to go. Is there something else I could do? Could I shift my region to the left a bit? Maybe it looks like that. I mean, that seems totally useless. But maybe it's not. Well, okay, maybe this is the region. No, because there's no room for a clone of that. Is this any good? Or even this, actually. The problem with this is that when I clone it, it bumps up here. God, there's another puzzle after this one. This game is getting hard. And the annoying thing is I can't ever say, oh, this puzzle is just, you know, you might imagine wanting to kind of give up on a level and say, you know what, this puzzle is just about being very creative about how you draw lines. I was signing up for figuring out what the rules are, but I already know the rules, so therefore I'll just skip this puzzle and who cares. Oh my god, my cursor is even bigger than usual, isn't it? How long has that been the case? There's maybe I can fix it. There's this bug with, like, I don't know, some combination of OBS and my Windows accessibility settings. Have I made it worse? Better? I'm not sure. It looks much smaller on my screen. Oh, wait a minute. I'm using the wrong OBS settings? How long has this been messed up? How did I not notice this when I started the thing? I'll be right back. Okay, so there's this bug that I don't know if it's an OBS bug or a Windows bug or what, but I got this like ultra wide monitor several years ago because I was like, hey, I don't see very well. It'd be nice to have more screen real estate, and then I could make things bigger and still have stuff fit on the screen. Many years ago, I tried using a big screen TV as my monitor, and that was not as enjoyable as you might imagine. But anyway. One problem, well, so then I changed the Windows accessibility settings to make stuff bigger, and it's generally fine. It works pretty well, actually. But some programs don't screen capture right with that setting on. Don't really know which ones. It seems to be mostly like indie Unity games, but some of them work, and some of them aren't Unity games. And I think there's some of them that aren't indie games either, so I don't know. But there's this accessibility setting you can set in the program that like makes it work out okay. For some reason that didn't work on Understand, but I found out you can set the accessibility setting on OBS. And the same thing works, which is really weird. But then it breaks on other programs that I record. So I've got like 2 OBS shortcuts to launch it in different modes, and I launched in the wrong mode for the first half hour or whatever of this video. So there you go. It's my long-winded explanation of why my cursor looks stupid the whole early, and also why it looks bigger. Like, it's unreasonably large in the recording. It's maybe half the diameter when I'm actually using it here, but it looks bigger to you because the accessibility thing isn't 100% fixed. It's just much closer. I don't know why. Anyway, so that was what that was all about, and we were talking about the shape of this thing. What about that? That shape I can duplicate here, and it gives me 2 obvious start points. Here, yeah, that might work. Yeah. Ta-da! Okay, just needed a few minutes to wrangle with OBS to help me clear my mind for solving that one, apparently. Now, obviously we have to connect these in the same way that we connect these. So what would those regions look like? Like, we kind of have to stick out at least this far, I think, right? Because then we could do this and this. Maybe that's enough, actually? I'm not sure. It would look something like that for that region. And then we have to go down here to fill this one in, and here. And now I think we have a choice about up or to the left. But if we go left, we'll find ourselves unable to ever fill in this square. So we must do this. And then this. Easy. Okay. Well, it's kind of a bummer to only get through one of these regions in an episode. Although we did just finish 4-3, but 4-4 took a while. I had to stop the recording to fix that visual issue, so I don't remember exactly how far along we are, but I don't want a video that's twice this long, so we're just gonna take a break here and maybe try 4 or 5 tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.